Hello everybody, so in today's video we are haymaking. It is the 13th of June, so reasonably early in the grand scheme of haymaking things. But we've got the weather, we've got a good week ahead, got quite a lot to do, and it's not all mown yet, but it will be. We're going to do everything in one go, try and get over it and get it all baled up before it rains. So whether that's going to work out or not, we will wait and see. So the observant ones amongst you will notice we're not on the 550 today. So when we spread out the silage back in May, and we did all the tedding with the 550, and there is a video of that you will have already seen, hopefully. But today it's a lot hotter, so I do like to have a little bit of air conditioning, or quite a bit of air conditioning. And also we're not at home; we are on some rented ground a few miles away, and you know, don't want to drive the 550 too far, because he is just a little bit light on the front when the tedder is in transport mode. So when he's folded up behind the tractor, it puts the weight quite a way back, and he's just a little bit light on the front. So yes, that's why we're back on the normal tractor today. So just to go back in time a little bit, just touch on when we were spreading the silage. A lot of comments came in following the drone footage of the 550 that the tedder was swaying side to side really badly, and it shouldn't be doing that. You know, people said it's got to run square and straight and be restrained. You know, got to have your check change tight to stop it doing that, wandering side to side. The reason it was doing that was because there was no check chains on there at the time. So when I bought the 550, I can't remember if I said or not in the first video, but it didn't have the correct link arms on it. I managed to find a proper genuine 550 pair. I got them swapped over kind of the day before we went tedding for the silage, and I just didn't have time to swap the check chains over. But that is done now, because after we'd finished filming, when we did the big first cut with the wagon, the Strautman wagons, when they came in, all of that got tedded out with the 550 as well. So you know, I have used it again since the video that we made. What we're cutting today is permanent pasture. Like I said, this is a little way from home, and this never gets any slurry, doesn't get any dung. You know, it's just too far for us to haul it. This is only like a short-term grass keep arrangement anyway. So the same as our first cut silage, this hasn't received any fertiliser, and I have to say, actually, it's quite pleasing how well it's done. The grass is fully mature. It's out in seed head, even though it is, you know, like I said earlier, it's reasonably early. Once it comes out in seed, once them seed heads come out, it doesn't really grow a lot more. It might bulk up in the bottom a bit, you know, as time goes on. But this is just right for hay. It's not over heavy. It should dry nicely, and because it's not heavy, it's still standing nicely, and it's cut very cleanly. So you know, if grass gets too heavy, it tends to lie down a little bit, and the mower quite can't always get underneath it. But where we are, this is all standing perfectly, and it's cut a nice clean stubble, which will encourage the regrowth later on. So it's all good news. So we are spreading straight behind the mower. Normally we would leave, you know, because the mower spreads it out well, normally we would leave it till the next day before we move it with the tedder. But we may be a little bit tight on days to get this made, and so by spreading it straight out behind the mower, it potentially could save us half a day to a day, and get it baled that little bit quicker. Being a light crop, it's going to dry fairly well anyway, but we've just got to do everything we can to try and speed it along, and just by spreading it out nicely, as you can see, it all aids the drying, which is what it's all about. Just getting it dry as quick as we can. Try not to go through it too often, because as it gets drier, the leaves get brittle, and we don't want to be breaking the leaf up and end up with a load of stalks. So the quicker we can do it without beating it about too much when it is getting dry. Today, you know, as it's fresh cut green, it won't damage it at all. It won't break the leaf. But as the days go on and the drier it gets, that's when you start to get leaf breaking up and, you know, making dust, which we don't want. We're trying to keep it intact and as good quality as we can, because it's early. Like I keep saying, it's early in the season. It is quite leafy still, and it's the leaf that we need to give us the feed value in the finished product. Right, so we have now fast forwarded 2 days. So the mowing and the first spreading was Monday. Tuesday we didn't record anything, we just carried on tedding. Now we're back. Now we are into Wednesday. The observant ones amongst you might notice the iron, some of it's changed a little bit. So yes, it is a new tedder, brand new, straight from the dealer this morning. The field where we're in the blocker line where we are, it's kind of halfway between the dealer's yard and our yard. So I went there, picked it up this morning, straight to the field. The salesman come out and just told me what does what and a few bits and pieces, and we set to. So there we go. This is our new tedder. It is a Class Volto 800 6-rotor machine to replace the old Coon that you saw like 3 minutes ago, something like that. But yeah. So the Coon is 24 years old. We bought that in 1998. It actually came to us in a shipping crate still. Straight from the factory, and we bolted it together ourselves, and that has done all of our tedding since 1998. Yeah, it's never let us down, apart from it's had a full set of tyres and probably a full set of tines over the years, you know, basic tyre here and there as you go. Other than that, it's never let us down. Covered I don't know how many acres, but yeah, it is time for a bigger one, time to change. So this is a 6-rotor machine. We were initially hoping to go for an 8-rotor machine, but that was a lot extra money. Those 2 extra rotors were a lot more money on top of this, and it only got us 1 metre extra width, despite having 2 more rotors. So just couldn't do it. Didn't even, you know, this is good enough for what we're going to do. So the big thing when they're trying to sell you a tedder, every manufacturer will tell you what they've done to make it spread better and spread wider and make it fluffy and all the rest of it. And every machine is a little bit different, either in the angle of the arms or the tines. Some tines have got an angled end or different shapes, and they'll tell you that it's the best ever. I guess pretty much they're all going to do the same job. You know, otherwise, you know, as long as the grass gets spread out wide and smooth and not lumpy, you know, everything kind of does the same job. What we're tedding today, so this is, like I said, it's 2 days or 3 days cut now, kind of 1 day off of baling really, and it is not a test of the machine. You can see, you saw from the drone footage, it's leaving it in ridges. The Coon was exactly the same. When it's getting fit, it doesn't throw it as far because the grass is light and it's not got any weight to carry it the distance. So it is leaving it in ridges. But the Coon was exactly the same. Really, to get this machine a proper test, it needs to follow the mower in some fresh cut grass, and that is the time when you will notice if there's any difference between this and the Coon. But in this conditions, you know, anything, pretty much any machine would chuck this almost fit hay about. Right, so we are into the following day now. So it is baling day. Go and see what's happening. So we'll all go today. So I'm tedding. I've already covered this field. I am into the last field now. Dad is raking, and brother, as you can see there, coming along behind with the baler. Very hot, sunny day. Ideal for baling. It's just what you want. Plenty of heat. Just wrapping the bale, ready to spit it out. There he goes. As you can see, the loader has come off the Kubota for a change. Doesn't happen very often. Making some nice swaths. Hay is lovely, perfectly dry. So we're not going to bale it all today, it's not all fit yet. You may have just seen there ahead of the rake there's a bit he hasn't raked, he hasn't gone right to the edge of the field. It's just not quite dry enough down the bottom there. It's a little bit heavier at the bottom near the ditch. What he's raking now is the lightest part of the crop. So it's dried a little bit faster and is ready to bale a day ahead of the rest of it. Baling up, raking up very nice and clean. So there you go, you can see the bottom part of the field not yet done. That will get done tomorrow. It's just a bit heavier crop there. It's just not quite dry enough yet. There you go, it's just turning in between the bales. So there we go, that is tedding very nearly finished. We are almost at the headland. And that is this whole block made, ready to bale. So next we will go raking. So we've not really spoken much about the tedder yet. I think what we're going to do, so we're not finished haymaking yet. We have another block to do. What I think we'll do, we'll do a more of an in-depth look at the tedder in another video, because like I said earlier on, this dry hay, it was nearly dry when we started with this machine, and it is dry now. It's no test, it's not showing us what it can do. What we need to do is get it in behind the mower on some fresh cut grass. That will then demonstrate, what kind of spread pattern it can achieve in tougher conditions, I guess you could say, when it's wet and heavy. So we'll do that, we'll have a proper look at it and see how it goes. That will all be in a future video, so hang around for that, and you could subscribe if you wanted to. But yeah, so that'll do for tedding. Just the last couple of fields to rake and bale, and then we will do that shortly. So another day has passed and we are now into Friday, and as you've just seen, we are now raking. We are just approaching the end of the final field and the last bit of this first 52 acre block getting baled up now. So we knew we had to get finished baling Friday, because they were saying all week, they've been saying the weather forecast Friday night into Saturday and Sunday is going to be wet. Now it's looking like Saturday says rain is possible. So with a bit of luck it will stay dry overnight and into tomorrow, if we can get as many picked up as we can before it rains, if it rains at all. Well, there we go, that is it, all raked up. Baler is not too far behind, he's just got a little bit behind the trees there to do. It's a bit bumpy there, so it's a steady old job on that little part. But here is, so this is what we're baling up. Lovely dry, quite short, because you know it wasn't a tall crop, so obviously the grass is short, the hay is short. Let's go and find a bale. We'll just say, you know, it's still kept its colour. It's dry, but it's still kept its green colour. It's still got our leaf on there. We haven't smashed it all to pieces. We didn't run through it with the tedder this morning. Normally when we bale, the day we bale, we like to run through with a tedder just to fluff it up, make sure it's not damp underneath. We didn't do that today. It's so hot. This is supposed to be the hottest day of the year so far. And tractor's saying 30 degrees, which it probably is. But there is a nice breeze blowing, which is helping to keep the dust on the move. Yeah, but because it's so hot, the ground is dry, we didn't move it. By going through with a tedder, we were risking breaking it, potentially losing some leaf, and in these conditions there's really no need. But yeah, here is a bale. Nice and firm. As you can see, this, you know, like I was saying, the green colour is still in the grass. So there we go, that is our first bit of hay finished. I did say earlier in the video, for the next little bit of hay, we're going to take a closer look at the new tedder, but you know, there probably won't be no raking and baling because we've done it. So there we go. Don't forget to subscribe, and then you can come back in. It'll be a few weeks away. There's other stuff coming. So a few weeks time you can see the tedder again. So I will say thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.